exciting here. In the last few weeks, we've actually driven an effort. There's a gentleman on the team I work with, Neil Bird, who has been really focused on trying to make sure we're delivering very similar, well-architected framework design best practices to our customers that are taking advantage of Azure Local. Because there's a lot more complexity inherently when you're going to do a Azure Local deployment because the hardware and the responsibility of the hardware belongs to you, right? And how do we, as system administrators, network architects, cloud solution architects, how do we make sure that that infrastructure has been designed and optimized in the best possible way? And we really are tracking that across these 5 basic pillars. So there's an opportunity here to really look at how you best design and architect out your environment to really set yourself up for success with Azure Local. And specifically within our assessment platform that has been built, it's a wizard-based navigation experience. So it gives you an opportunity to select which areas you're interested in understanding more about in your environment. And it gives you tailored recommendations and guidance very specific to your environment experience. And it can be really helpful because what I have found, and I don't know about you, Michael, I'm assuming you've been in the same boat, is that there's oftentimes things on this list that you might not necessarily have thought through when you were originally architecting out your solution. And to have that opportunity to review it, I think is extremely helpful.
Yeah, I really value with the other assessments that I can come back and show how I've made improvements and then take that to my management and show how we are making more secure and more well-designed choices with Microsoft's backing, quote unquote, to say. So this is good.
Yeah, and I think it's really important when we think about shared responsibility. And again, this idea of running these workloads and having a cloud deployment and cloud management experience, like you were showcasing in the What is Azure Local session, we really want to think about how customers are taking advantage of all these great cloud experiences while at the same time being able to architect and design very specifically to their environment the hardware that they need to meet their requirements. And I think that really does go hand in hand with setting yourself up for success when you're having that kind of a hybrid strategy of cloud management, but on-prem utilization.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So I can dive into specific aspects of this and really understand how my workloads meet these requirements and how I can better secure them and design them, and then also go back and implement future workloads, right?
Absolutely. You want to take a quick peek?
Yeah, let's do this.
All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go into this lovely little browser experience and we're going to start an assessment. So you'll notice when we're going through the success assessment experience, it's going to ask me, of course, to name my assessment, just like a lot of the other well-architected framework designs do. And you're going to come in here and give yourself the option of selecting any and all of the pillars, just so that we don't have a whole ton of extra walkthrough to just showcase this. We're going to just select reliability for this one. And then we're going to go through and take a look under the reliability of the types of questions that are very specifically being asked related to that. So think about things like resiliency, high availability specifically, things like disaster recovery, and being able to really look at these kinds of questions and understand what is actually needing to be done to meet those requirements. So as you're looking through the list of questions that I'm checkboxing here, you'll notice that it's really asking me very specific things about my architecture. It's not telling me if one thing is right versus another, but it's giving you an option to really review, which I think when you're going through a step list or a checklist to actually do your deployment, not everybody thinks through every individual aspect of like, how do we make sure our DR process and procedures have been properly tested and validated? I think we talk about it. A lot of us have battle plans when we do these deployments, but it's not always the most top of mind thing when you're really trying to get everything done to go back and review. Did you in fact accomplish all of these things that are really those best practice recommendations? Because who wants to read the mountains and mountains of documentation that's out there? So how about a more curated experience where we're going to ask you some very pointed questions about your environment, and we're going to make sure that you have the knowledge, the skills, and the design architecture in place to really give yourself a great step up toward a very stable and reliable experience. And so in here, you'll see that it's given me some room to improve based off of the answers I've also provided. And with that, I can review those recommendations. You'll notice I could also export those to a CSV, but right now I'm going to just take a look at these 35 recommendations and kind of drill into each one to see what things are being suggested for me to actually have a more successful Azure local deployment. So I can click in here and it's going to send me to the page that very clearly describes the things I need to do to remediate that stuff. So you can rerun the assessment after you're done and actually be able to understand how you are improving as you're going through this. And I did just show reliability, but obviously we've set this up for all of those pillars that I described at the front end of this. So I hope that is kind of an interesting way of looking at how customers can take full advantage of this free tool that's out there that I think would really be helpful for a lot of folks to be more likely to ensure the success of their deployments.
Yes, and everybody can get started by just simply clicking or scanning this QR code link,
Yep.
and they can be linked to the assessment. And we're always looking for feedback. So as you find the recommendations, whether they're good or bad, give us feedback so that we can help improve this. And we're looking to implement new things like policies and other items that will help you to be even more successful in a more automated way with these. So appreciate
Absolutely.
everybody's time.
Yep. Thanks so much. Looking forward to the next demo with you, Michael.
Thank you. Can't wait.